What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to my breakdown of the Rearmed Lilina and Thjazi banner with some Binding Blade units. So we have got Elffin here as a colorless infantry mage and he's going to be a refresher with his play assist. Unfortunately, he doesn't get a preferred assist to stand out, but still at least he gets a preferred weapon in Light of Etruria. So this is a 14 might weapon giving him +3 resistance, and that's fine because he has no business being in combat anyways, so at least he can have better checks for his debuffs, and at sort of player phase and enemy phase both, he's going to be giving out the +6 speed and resistance buff and the Hexblade status to himself and the allies in 2 spaces. So Hexblade is not the most insane effect but can still help you many times against the polarized tanks like Attuned Chimera for example. And because Brave Felix has got Hexblade in his weapon, a lot of tanks with that kind of bulk, which is polarized, do start running Mystic Boost as the Sacred Seal. And he also has a ploy skill built in this weapon, so he can debuff any kind of foe in 3 rows or 3 columns that has less resistance than him and inflict the -7 attack and speed debuff and also the guard status and the exposure status. So it's pretty much attack speed ploy, but instead of inflicting the ploy status, he inflicts the guard status. So not that bad for some extra support, and if the foe initiates combat, then he's going to be inflicting penalty on foes attack and speed in the combat equal to 6 plus 20% of his visible resistance. So this is going to be anywhere from 17 to 20 attack and speed debuff, so it can help him survive. And then he has got Miracle built in this weapon, and he has got 20 base attack, lower attack than Odin, and same attack as Merlinus. So he's not going to be attacking ever, and if he does, then he's actually going to be healing up the opponent. And he has got Miracle in case he gets attacked, so at least he'll be able to survive. But this is a non-special miracle, so it is going to be negated by the Null Miracle status and also Fatal Smoke 4. And then he has got the Play Assist. This is the non-preferred version of a refresh skill, so it is going to be scoring lower. And I kind of wish that he got preferred assist because having this kind of vanilla refresh is just not enough with how many dancers and singers we have got. And he's a premium 5-star unit, so I feel like he should have gotten that. And then he has got attack resistance cantrip, which can be helpful with Emblem Secret Ring because you can still get Canto, but this could always be replaced with Firestorm Dance or Rockslide Dance or Wings of Mercy 4. So with the cantrip skill, he's going to be able to debuff the opponent's attack as well, along with the attack and speed debuff that he gets out of his weapon and also the sabotage status on them. And because he already has the ploy built in his weapon, he doesn't have enough HP to always make use of infantry pelt, so this is a pretty good slotsy skill that he has got. So he's going to be helping you in the Binding Blade limited battles and resonant battles, but we already have Brattle Lorem as a free-to-play dancer, but Elffin here does provide more support with his weapon. So he ends up being the lowest base attack Book 8 unit. Before that, it was Attuned Chimera with her 34 base attack, and then Laura with 35 base attack, and she's also a dancer. Then we have got OJ or Ogier as a sword infantry unit, and he's going to be the 4-star focus, and he is going to be joining the sea of sword infantry units in the 3-star 4-star pool after the banner is over. So at least he has got good fodder with Doubler Sword Plus, which is the non-seasonal version of Farmer's Tool Plus of Halloween Kellum. So this is actually a pretty nice weapon because it is going to be having bonus doubler 4 built in, so it can give you a lot of stats, and you also give the visible buff to yourself and allies. And Arcane Elutnir kind of sucks as an arcane weapon for slow sword infantry units and slow sword units, so this can be the weapon of choice. And if you have enough attack, then Wyvern Katana Plus is also a pretty nice dual phase brave weapon. He does have Luna and then speed resistance ideal, and then Close Call 3. So this is the first time that we have got a damage reduction skill in the 3-star 4-star pool. It did happen in the rail pool before, but not in the regular summoning pool. And these dodge damage reduction skills are not the best way of tanking, as we have got many of the flat damage reduction skills like Reopening and of course Lagoo's Friend, the one and only. But having this in the normal summon pool is really good because it's not that bad of a budget skill for many of the units that you're not going to be extensively merging or using. So you get the damage reduction and then you retreat because of its hit and run. So I really like it. I'm glad that they're putting these kinds of skills in the normal summon pool. We already know his stat spread, so he is going to be having high speed at base 47 and then 44 base attack and enough defense to make use of Lagu's Friend at max investment. And then we have got the stars of the banner and Rearmed Lilina. So I was not expecting this. She is a green infantry mage this time, and I absolutely love her art. So she brings the second arcane green tome to the green mages, and here she's going to be attacking Bernie with fire. Why do they keep doing this? And she has got Arcane Truth Fire as her arcane weapon, giving her -1 special cooldown. And at start of turn, if the unit's HP is at or above 25%, then you get +6 attack and the order status. So it's basically Attack Oath, which is not bad for AoE nuking as you get the attack buff. And you also get the orders status for a bit better mobility, so you don't really have to run any kind of Oath skill or any skill that can boost up your visible attack. And a really unique thing about this arcane weapon is that unlike any other, this gives you the special cooldown -1 jump before the combat if you've got an AoE special. So this might remind you a bit of momentum on Emblem Sigurd, and this is basically mini momentum in a way, giving you that kind of special jump. So it's not often we see the special jumps being applied to the AoE specials, helping you trigger AoE special itself. So it is amazing for many of the ranged nukes and for the green mages. And if you have an offensive special that can trigger in the combat, then you get the special jump before your first attack, like many of the offensive special jumps. So I really love the fact that it has got both kinds of special jumping. I wish that Arcane Blood Gang also had this because it also gives you true damage for your AoE specials, and that just would have been wonderful for many of the high attack red mages. This arcane weapon does give you +14 to all of your stats, and it also has true damage based on 15% of your attack, including the AoE specials. And just like Arcane Blood Gang, it also gives you 7 flat damage reduction on foes' first attacks, including the brave hits. So even if you're tanking in the enemy phase, at least you get some flat damage reduction, and this is easily much better than Arcane Caliburnus. There's no competition. I mean, Arcane Caliburnus does have the guaranteed follow-up attack, but we just have the Crux skills now if you want to get the guaranteed follow-up attack, and they're also free-to-play support units like Gaul and Dehorba with their weapon refine that do have the Crux effect. So I feel like at this point, giving guaranteed follow-up attack in an arcane weapon is simply a waste of effect, as you can just have more productive effects like special jumping here in your weapon. So I'm going to be making a full video going over the best users of it as always, and she does have Gift for Magic as a 2 cooldown special, which then becomes 1 cooldown with her Arcane Truth Fire, so she can always trigger this because of the special jumping, and it is going to be reminiscent of Gifted Magic 2 with its AoE radius. I'm kind of surprised that it doesn't have the 1.5 multiplier like Emblem Sigurd's AoE special, because I thought she would get that as a modern unit, but I guess she's paying the price of being a ranged unit, so she's not going to be having as powerful of an AoE special like Emblem Sigurd. And she also has the Hardy Bearing built in, just like Glittering Lilina. And if she has triggered her AoE special, then she's going to be getting 50% damage reduction piercing in the combat. Now keep in mind, this is the in-combat damage reduction piercing on your regular attacks. It is not the AoE damage reduction piercing. We simply don't have it yet. And then finally, it has got the Beacon type of 40% unpierceable damage reduction built in, so you can get some unpierceable damage reduction always as you trigger your special. Being a rearmed unit, she also brings some amazing fodder, and we quickly see the resistance variant of Sly Sparrow from the Ninja banner and Sly Mirror, and this gives you +8 attack and +10 resistance in combat, and also gives you guaranteed follow-up attack. And like I said, having guaranteed follow-up attack in an arcane weapon is quite wasteful because we have skills like these that can give you the guaranteed follow-up attack. And you also get +5 true damage per hit, including the AoE specials, if you've got 2 or more bonus status effects active on you, or if you've got 2 or more penalty status effects active on the foe. And the good thing is that Lilina already gets the orders status from her weapon, and if you run Emblem Sigurd, she gets the +1 movement, so she can always take advantage of it. And even if you don't, she can run the ploy skill and debuff the enemy for ploy and exposure. So these are the two status effects that you can inflict. So you can always get the true damage out of it. And some people might want to run Crystalline Water, but even without it, I think Slimer is still pretty good for giving you the true damage. And Lilina already has like 48 base resistance, so even if you just run her with still Water Sacred Seal, she's going to be having plenty of visible resistance. And then you can also refine her weapon. And then she's got Occultist Strike in this lobby, which can give you some pre-combat damage and also the true damage. But unfortunately, that true damage doesn't get added into the AoE special. And because she already gets the damage reduction piercing out of her special, you don't really need to run Resonance on her like Legendary Lilina. And then she has got Deploy skill. So unfortunately, Rearmed Lilina doesn't really stand out much. I mean, yeah, she's a powerful AoE nuke with Hardy Bearing, but there are so many AoE nukes, and being an AoE nuke is just simply not enough. You just need to do more things, maybe have better AoE range or insane amounts of true damage. And unfortunately, Lilina doesn't really get true damage out of her special, or doesn't even have the 1.5 multiplier, and certainly doesn't give any kind of support outside of just plowing the enemies. So she's kind of missing the X factor here, and AoE nuking in itself does face a tough time with Hathran's Divine Nectar and Breath of Life Force, and that's why I'm saying like you need to do more things than just AoE nuking in the pure combat. And then we have got Rearmed Thjazi, and we are facing her in Tempest Trial, and we already knew that she was going to be an Axe Armor with Arcane Giant Axe as the third arcane weapon, which is the first time that a weapon has got 3 arcane weapons. And I wouldn't say that this is outright better than Arcane Thrima in every scenario. Arcane Thrima still has its niche, but yeah, it's definitely better than Arcane Downfall. So it's a 16 might arcane weapon giving you -1 special cooldown, and it has got the dual phase Panic and attack and defense debuff Cleansing like you would have on a skill that is going to be the defense variant of Crystalline Water. And that's why I've kind of tried to make that icon like that so that you can understand where the cleansing takes place. So it's pretty good for AoE nuking, or just for many of the slow axe units that just specialize in attack and defense. And you're going to be getting plus 14 to all of their stats in the combat, and you also get true damage based on 15% of their attack, including on the AoE specials. And you also get flat damage reduction based on 15% of your own attack, including the AoE specials as well. So this does help when it comes to tanking the AoE specials from something like Emblem Heroes, but you still may need more things like the Stone Terrain or the 80% damage reduction status of Goto. And it does have -1 special cooldown jump before your first attack in the combat. So this is the offensive special jump and not the defensive special jump like Lagu's Friend, and special jumps can stack up. So if you run Momentum on an Infantry or Cavalier with Arcane Giant Axe, then the special jumps are going to be stacking up. So it can be a fun weapon. And again, I'm going to be making a full video with my tier list of the best users and the builds. And she does have Armored Blaze as the special, which does help in near saving. And it also works nicely with the twin near save that she has got. And she also has Earth Fire Boost, which can give you the extra HP. And her HP does matter actually for some of the effects. She has Brutal Ferocity as her slot B skill, and unfortunately not Shield Fighter. So this means that she's not going to be having the best possible tanking, as she's not going to be able to run Shield Fighter, or she misses out on her preferred skill. But it does give you the Pathfinder effect. But this is the innate Pathfinder build for Thjazi. She's not going to be giving this out to other allies like Dagger, not at all. And this is just going to be there for herself. So you can actually make use of this Pathfinder effect many times in something like Summoner Duels, and it can be helpful for role compression, but it is a bit weird on an armor who would ideally like to be on the backline protecting other units from attacks and not getting hit by something like Blazing Wind and the AoE specials. But again, Emblem Seeker does have pretty huge range on his AoE special. And at start of turn and after she has acted, she can inflict -7 attack and defense debuff and gravity status on the foes in the cardinal direction with less HP than her. So this is a really unique effect because for Aether offense, this is going to be extremely helpful, as you're not going to be getting cleansed by Freyr because this applies the debuffs and gravity status after you have moved. And you can also inflict this at start of the turn. So it is really, really good, and Gravity in Aether offense can help you against the high mobility units like Brave Felix and Emblem Seeker. Of course, you know, Brave Felix is going to be moving and then getting rid of his penalties and any kind of debuffs. But still, you initially lower his reach a bit as he can only move one space when he's inflicted with gravity. And against Emblem Sigurd, it also helps. And you can kind of try and use her like you would use original Loki or Valentine's Leo in a way. And then she can also help you save tank. So this can actually help you limit the amount of foes that you face in the combat by restricting their movement. And of course, you need to keep in mind the cleansing of attuned Micaiah, but gravity for a status is on pretty low priority when it comes to getting cleansed. And if you have some other status effects on the enemies, then gravity can be ensured that it doesn't get cleansed. So I definitely see its usage in either its offense, can be a bit annoying at times, in either its defense. And for summoner duels, I guess it can help at times depending on the map layout and you know how you have got your units positioned. So this is good, but this is not Shield Fighter. And for the in-combat stuff, she's able to inflict -18 attack and defense debuff on the enemy, which is quite a lot. And she also gets the guaranteed follow-up attack, and she has got Null Guard built in, so she can easily always trigger her specials. And she also gets 50% damage reduction piercing, so that is pretty nice for an armor. And she also has attack defense twin save, and just as a recap, twin save skills mainly require you to run stuff like Armored Blaze, Armored Beacon, and specials of those nature, and it essentially gives you the damage reduction twice in a single round of combat. So it can help you be a bit more bulky, but ultimately it is, again, not Shield Fighter, and it is not going to be as much helpful in the survival like Shield Fighter and Pavis. And that's why she is going to be having a tough time against Brave Felix and even against Emblem Sigurd, even though she has got the weapon strength advantage and some AoE damage reduction. The reason being is that Sigurd just hits way too hard. I've killed so many Marnies that didn't have Shield Fighter with my Emblem Sigurd because Shield Fighter helps you not get finished off by Emblem Sigurd as it gives you the unpierceable damage reduction in the actual combat. So it really helps. And right now we have the option of getting a Shield Fighter Axe Armor in Brave Edelgard from the Hollow Form. So it is going to be a bit tough sell for Thjazi, even though she can do some unique things, but ultimately she's not going to be having the peak survival of an armor unit that you'd expect nowadays. And she's also an armor rearmed unit, so I think she has a lot of value for duplicating Shield Fighter, as the only other armor rearmed unit that we had before was rearmed Grima. So Thjazi could be helpful for passing down Shield Fighter and also giving the twin save at the same time. And she also comes with Armored Blaze, so she can help with the duplication. And that is going to be the food for a lot of people building up Marnie as a near savior. At least you're able to get stuff like Armored Blaze and Twin Save, which can also help you in Arena, as in Arena you cannot really run Shield Fighter because the defensive specials don't really score as high. We're also going to be having Zeiss as the grantor of Battle Unit, and he's going to be a Lance Flyer. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a preferred weapon from the looks because the weapon sprite that he has got looks really similar to Reversal Blade of Kagetsu, so it is going to be Reversal Lance. And I guess some things never change, which is getting outclassed by your older sister. So he is going to be a pretty cool unit because of his artwork, but doesn't stand out, and that seems to be the theme of this banner and update. We're also going to be getting Bors as the instant demote unit, so he's going to be in the 3-star 4-star pool, and we're not going to be getting the free copies of him from the quests. And it seems like he has got the Lance version of Ogier's weapon, basically doubler Lance, I think. So he might be a bit fast as he's not getting doubled, or he has got Wary Fighter. So that is the double rearmed banner, unless you really want the new Arcane Green Tome or Axe. It's not going to be a banner that a lot of people are going to be wanting to summon on. And tomorrow we're going to be knowing if Ledger Ninian is going to be in the Blazing Sword Hollow form or not. And I want to thank all of my YouTube members for their constant support. And you can click the link on the screen right now to check out my breakdown for this month's Revival Hollow forms for Chooser Legends 4. And make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as your Vantage against Rearmed Lilina. So that's it, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.